usando a máscara, lavar o sabão. Covid-19, distanciamento social, usando viseira, desinfetando as mãos, usando a máscara, lavar as mãos com sabão. Covid-19, distanciamento social, usando viseira, desinfetando as mãos, usando a máscara, lavar as mãos com sabão. Covid-19, distanciamento social, usando viseira, desinfetando, usando a máscara, lavar as mãos com sabão.
Good morning, Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, distinguished delegates, a very special welcome to the 40th Ordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government, which is happening virtually and hosted by the Republic of Mozambique under the theme SADC 40 Years Building Peace and Security and Promoting Development and Resilience in the Face of Global Challenges. May I request that we all rise for the anthems for the Republic of Mozambique, SADC, and AU. Anthems, please. Thank you. We may be seated. Thank you, Mozambique, for those melodies of our anthems. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, distinguished delegates, viewers who are watching and following from the different platforms that are being live broadcast, good morning, bonjour, bon dia, habari za asubuhi. My name is Barbara from the Secretariat. I will be directing this ceremony this morning. Our program is very short, so I'll go straight into the introduction of their excellencies on our virtual high table. We have His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, who is the current chairperson of SADC. His Excellency Felipe Jacinto Nyusi, the President of the Republic of Mozambique and the incoming chairperson of SADC. His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, President of the Republic of Namibia, who is the outgoing chairperson of SADC. His Excellency Dr. Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and the current chairperson of the SADC Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation. His Excellency Dr. Mokwesi Eric Kiabetswe Masisi, the President of the Republic of Botswana, who is the incoming chairperson of the SADC Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation. His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, the President of the Republic of Zambia and outgoing chairperson of the SADC Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation. His Excellency Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of the Republic of South Africa and also chairperson of the African Union. His Excellency João Manuel Gonçalves Lorenzo, the President of the Republic of Angola. His Excellency Keno Azali Assoumani, President of the Union of Comoros. His Excellency Andrinira Rajolina, the President of the Republic of Madagascar. His Excellency Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Chilombo, the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo. His Excellency Dr. Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera, the President of the Republic of Malawi. The Right Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Moekesi Majoro of the Kingdom of Lesotho. His Excellency Mr. Vincent Meriton, the Vice President of the Republic of Seychelles. The Right Honorable Prime Minister Mandvulo Dlamini of the Kingdom of Eswatini. Honorable Minister Nandikomo Bado, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration and International Trade in the Republic of Mozambique. And Honorable Veronica Nathaniel Makamu Dlovo, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation in the Republic of Mozambique and the Chairperson of the SADC Council of Ministers. Last but not the least, on the virtual high table is Her Excellency Dr. Stegomena Lawrence Tax, the Executive Secretary of SADC. Distinguished delegates, you are welcome to the 40th SADC Ordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government that is being held virtually and hosted by the Republic of Mozambique under the theme SADC 40 Years Building Peace and Security and Promoting Development and Resilience in the Face of Global Challenges. At this point, allow me to invite the Executive Secretary of SADC, Her Excellency Dr. Stegomena Lawrence Tax, to deliver the remarks, introductory remarks. Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania and the Chairperson of SADC. Your Excellency Filippo Jacinto Nyusi, President of the Republic of Mozambique and the incoming Chairperson of SADC. Your Excellencies, SADC heads of state and government and representatives. Honorable Veronica Nathaniel Macom Ndovo, Chairperson of SADC Council of Ministers. Honorable Ministers, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, High Commissioners, and the members of the Diplomatic Corps, SADC Deputy Executive Secretaries and SADC Secretariat staff, our partners from the media, and esteemed viewers, I'm greatly humbled to have this opportunity to deliver some introductory remarks and to welcome you all to the opening of the 40th Ordinary Summit of SADC Heads of States and Government, which is being held virtually for the first time in the history of our organization due to challenges caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. We thank the government of the Republic of Mozambique for the excellent preparations, a clear demonstration of Mozambique's commitment to SADC cooperation and integration. Your Excellencies, before I proceed, allow me to express our deepest condolences to the Mkapa family, government of the and the people of the United Republic of Tanzania on the untimely passing of His Excellency Benjamin William Mkapa, the third President of the United Republic of Tanzania. The late President Mkapa had a very strong passion for regional cooperation and economic integration. In his own words, during the SADC summit held in 2001 in Malawi, he said, and I quote, "SADC belongs to the people, and the people need peace. They need security and stability if they are to work and invest for today and tomorrow," end of quote. His legacy is visible for everyone to see and cherish. He has left an indelible mark on the lives of SADC citizens, and his name and achievements are inscribed in the history books of SADC. May his dear soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. Your Excellencies, this year's summit comes at a time when SADC is celebrating 40 years of existence. The COVID-19 pandemic, though devastating, will not overshadow the achievements that SADC has attained since the establishment of the Southern Africa Development Coordination Conference in April 1980. We remain indebted to the founders of our regional organization who had the foresight to establish an organization that would friend stable, sustainable, and equitable regional integration, as exposed in the Lusaka Declaration. It is gratifying to report that during the year, the formulation of a mechanism in honor of our founders of SADC was finalized. The mechanism will go a long way in honoring the founders of SADC, in preserving and promoting the history of our organization, and in entrenching a sense of patriotism, self-love, and belonging among the peoples of our region, specifically the youth. Your Excellencies, in line with the August 2019 summit decision directing the Secretariat to undertake an assessment of the status of industrialization and SADC intra-regional trade, and the challenge advanced to the Secretariat by the chairperson of SADC, His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, to advise member states on the appropriate direction to overcome challenges confronting the region, the Secretariat reviewed the status of industrialization and market integration in the SADC region. The findings of this review show that while SADC integration has progressed, there is still work to be done if we are to effectively promote industrialization and improve economic growth in the region. The assessment shows that the structure of SADC economies remain undiversified, with a growing dependence on natural resources and the export of unprocessed commodities characterized by a stagnant industrial sector. Natural resource-based sectors, including agriculture and mining, still account for an average of 25% of GDP. The assessment further reveals that despite some improvements in intra-SADC trade flows, the total intra-SADC trade, which stood at 19.3% in 2018, is significantly less compared to other regions. These observations, among others, point to the need of an urgent need for member states to improve competitiveness by addressing the supply-side constraints, including strengthening cooperation in cross-border infrastructure, and deal with non-tariff barriers that remain a hindrance to the smooth flow of goods. The finding also points to the importance of ratifying and implementing the SADC protocol on industry as an important instrument for the promotion of an industrialized and a globally competitive regional economy. In this regard, allow me to recognize the 12 member states that have signed the protocol and to commend the Republic of Seychelles, the only member state that has ratified the protocol. Your Excellencies, a number of milestones were recorded during the year, including timely development of SADC guidelines on movement of goods and services across the region during COVID-19. The guidelines greatly contributed to the containment of the spread of COVID-19 and facilitated movement of goods and thus minimizing disruptions to economic activities and mitigating socioeconomic hardships to SADC citizens. Furthermore, the region finalized the development of the SADC Vision 2050, the Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan RISDIP 2020-2030. These are key blueprints that are to provide a strategic direction of our region. Taking forward the revised Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan 2015-2020, which lapsed in March 2020. The Secretariat also carried out an in-depth assessment of the socio-economic impacts of COVID-19 on SADC economies, and a report with concrete proposals across sector was prepared. Notwithstanding the impacts of COVID-19, member states have put in place rigorous response measures. In this regard, may I commend member states for the measures put in place that have gone a long way in containing the spread of the pandemic and protecting the livelihoods of SADC citizens. Sadly, however, we are now witnessing a surge, especially in local transmissions, and an increase in casualties in some of our member states. This calls for SADC to remain united and vigilant in the fight against this pandemic. Your Excellencies, in the area of peace and security cooperation, SADC continued to strengthen peace and stability, as well as democracy and good governance. In a bid to enhance peace and security in the SADC region, and in line with the guidance provided by the chairperson of SADC chairperson and the chairperson of the organ on politics, defense, and security cooperation, the Secretariat conducted an assessment of emerging security threats in the region. The findings show that while the security landscape in the SADC region remains stable, there are areas that require strengthening, and these relate to terrorism and cybersecurity, transnational organized crimes, climate change and disasters, governance and democracy, and cross-cutting issues. Proposed recommendations to address the emerging threats were considered by the Organ Troika Summit on 14th August 2020, that is last Friday. In implementing the recommendations, priority will be placed on measures to combat terrorism, violent attacks, and cybercrime, to address adverse effects of climate change, and mitigate external interferences, impact of fake news, and abuse of social media, especially in electoral processes. The region also continued to consolidate democracy, as evidenced by the transparent and peaceful elections held in several countries since your last summit in August 2019. To this end, allow me to congratulate the republics of Botswana, Malawi, Mauritius, Mozambique, and Namibia for conducting successful and peaceful elections. During the year, the region also witnessed a peaceful transfer of power in the Kingdom of Lesotho, following the resignation of the former Prime Minister. Allow me to congratulate our leaders for being elected or re-elected or being appointed. Recognizing the progress made and the recorded achievements, allow me, Your Excellencies, to express our profound gratitude to His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania and Chairperson of SADC, and his entire team for the exemplary leadership and the continued guidance during the year. His commitment to SADC agenda made it possible for the region to register the recorded progress. Your Excellency, thank you very much, sir. We are grateful for your leadership and for the outstanding work done by your team, led by Honorable Professor Kabudi, the outgoing chairperson of Council of Ministers. Tunakushukuru sana Mheshimiwa Raisi kwa uongozi wako.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your commendable leadership, which enabled us to achieve these milestones.
Mafanikio ni mengi, hatuwezi kuyaeleza yote.
It's a lot we cannot explain by one. We have just enumerated some few of them. But I want to seize this occasion to once again thank you for Tanzania to reach the middle-income economy. This is an encouragement to other countries and SADC in general. We thank you, Mr. President.
Allow me also to thank the chairperson of SADC organ on politics, defense, and security cooperation, His Excellency Emerson Ndambuzo Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, for having diligently and outstandingly steered the work of the organ. Can I have some water? Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellencies. Using mask is not easy. We need to get used to. You get choked at times. Forgive me about that. We thank Your Excellencies for the leadership and for the excellent work done by your team. Oh my God. Done by your team, led by Honorable Left General Retired Dr. Simbuso Moyo as chairperson of the Ministerial Committee of the organ. Your Excellencies, having attained 40 years of existence, the theme of the summit of 40 years building peace and security and promoting development and resilience in the face of global challenges could not have come at a better time. The theme consolidates the progress registered over past 40 years and is in line with the proposed SADC Vision 2050, which foresees a peaceful, inclusive, middle to high-income industrialized region, where all citizens enjoy sustainable economic well-being, justice, and freedom. We welcome His Excellency Filippo Jacinto Nyusi, President of the Republic of Mozambique, as the chairperson of SADC. Your Excellency, may I assure you of the Secretariat's and my personal commitment and the diligent services during your tenure as the chairperson of SADC. Your Excellencies, as I conclude, may I pay tribute to Your Excellencies for your steadfast leadership and the commitment to the prosperity of our region. I also wish to thank our partners, both internal and external, for their contribution to the SADC regional integration agenda. Finally, may I recognize the support that I have continuously received and enjoyed from my Deputy Executive Secretaries and the entire team at the Secretariat. I thank you, team, for your usual professionalism and dedication towards results. Asanteni sana, na Mungu aendelee.
I thank you and may God abundantly
thank you
bless
very
you.
much. Merci beaucoup. Muito obrigado. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. Stegomena Lawrence Tax. Just a point of correction, the Honorable Minister Nandikoma Bodo, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration and Trade from the Republic of Mauritius. He's the one representing the country. The SADC family has new leaders who are participating this summit for the first time. And at this point, allow me to again invite the SADC Executive Secretary, Dr. Stegomena Lawrence Tax, to introduce and welcome the new SADC leaders to the SADC family. Your Excellency.
Your Excellencies, I maintain my previous salutations, and in the interest of time, allow me to introduce the new leaders. As we are all aware, Your Excellencies and esteemed viewers, we have new leaders who are attending SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government for the first time in their capacities as heads of state and government. And in line with SADC tradition, a head of state attending a summit for the first time delivers a maiden speech. While noting that the new leaders will be delivering their maiden speeches in a face-to-face meeting, which is to be convened in due course, allow me to introduce Their Excellencies, our new leaders, and invite them to briefly greet SADC citizens through this virtual summit. May I begin by introducing the Right Honorable Dr. Moyoketsi Majoro, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Lesotho, who was appointed as the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Lesotho on the 20th May 2020, following the resignation of the former Prime Minister. Prior to his appointment, Prime Minister Majoro had served in various cabinet positions in the government of Lesotho and in leadership roles in public service and several international organizations. May I invite Your Excellency, Right Honorable Prime Minister, to greet SADC citizens. Your Excellency, sir. Your Excellency, if you have taken the floor, sir, may you kindly unmute your speaker so that we can hear you.
Okay. So I can come in? All right. I think we are ready to go. Your Excellency, President Felipe Jacinto Nyusi of the Republic of Mozambique, Chairperson of SADC, and our gracious host. Your Excellency, President Mokgweetsi Eric Masisi, Chairperson of SADC organ on
Excellency, Right Prime Minister, we can't hear you.
Okay, let me continue to try. Can we hear?
I hear you now, Your Excellency.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So if Your Excellency can hear me, let me proceed. I had already started salutations. Let me proceed Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Your Excellency Dr. Stegomena Lawrence Tex, SADC Executive Secretary, distinguished guests, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor and privilege to address this SADC Assembly on this auspicious day. Please allow me at the outset to applaud the government of the Republic of Mozambique for so ably hosting this summit amidst very challenging circumstances imposed upon us by the devastating, deadly coronavirus pandemic, which practically prevents the whole world from holding meetings in a conventional manner. Permit me at this juncture to express my heartfelt appreciation and gratitude for the messages of goodwill and best wishes for Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government of this regional body, following my appointment as the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Lesotho. This signifies the support and trust that Your Excellencies have on me as Premier of the Kingdom of Lesotho until the next elections in 2022. In the same vein, let me take this opportunity to assure Your Excellencies of my cooperation and full support for this organization and your good selves throughout my tenure of office as Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Lesotho. As a long-standing member of SADC, Lesotho attaches great importance to this organization, not only because this regional economic community has remained steadfast with its mediation efforts in my country, but because we fully subscribe to SADC's aspiration for improved socio-economic conditions for all SADC citizens, which the organization is clearly targeting. Following my appointment as leader of the current coalition government, we swiftly identified the following pillars, which amongst others aim to render this government function with concrete deliverables for the benefit of the entire Basotho nation. These pillars are the fight against COVID-19, food security, national reforms, reconciliation and national unity, as well as political stability, and rescuing our economy from the ravages of COVID-19 and the creation of jobs for our youth and people. Chairperson, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, distinguished delegates, I beg your indulgence to dwell on a few of these pillars of our policy trajectory. Chairperson, this government comes into office at a very challenging and difficult time as the whole world is fighting the deadly COVID-19 pandemic, which uproots lives and could virtually human forever. Given the ease and pace at which people get infected by this virus, and recognizing at the same time that we may have been behind the curve, we have, as government, sat down and mapped out strategies on how best to fight this pandemic. We concluded that with the weak health systems and the lack of resources to mobilize therapeutic care rapidly, our strategy had to rest on prevention of infections. As I address this August Assembly this August, the government of Lesotho has put in place mechanisms and clear guidelines aimed at flattening the curve as well as mitigating the adverse effects of this pandemic amongst our citizenry. We believe that achieving this objective will put us in the right trajectory to successfully manage and defeat this pandemic. Among other measures undertaken to date, the government of Lesotho has recently launched the COVID-19 Testing Center in the capital Maseru, which is spearheaded by the newly established National COVID-19 Secretariat, working hand in hand with the Ministry of Health. This facility has the capacity to conduct 2,000 tests every 24 hours and has enabled the country to undertake more tests than previously possible. We also have crafted and adopted a risk management framework for decision-making in the fight against the pandemic, which serves us as a guiding tool for decisions relating to the pandemic. In the interest of time, Chairperson, allow me to spare you the details of the framework. Despite our determination, there remains daunting challenges. Rising infections have exposed the fragility of our health systems. Lack of adequate financial resources, together with inadequate global PPE supplies, have continued to hamper our fight against this pandemic. We thank the African Union and President Ramaphosa for the initiatives to mobilize funding and PPE for the continent. The porosity of our borders with the Republic of South Africa permits unmonitored human traffic between the two countries, which in turn amplifies the risk of both importation and exportation of the virus. This also makes contact tracing very difficult, and contact tracing is at the heart of our infection prevention strategy. We are, however, working hard with our South African counterparts to develop a strategy to address these challenges. Our food security has up to now depended disproportionately on food imports. Recent data suggests that we grow only a quarter of the cereals we consume here in Lesotho. But COVID-19 pandemic has shown in stark terms of the fallibility of this strategy. As food production falls across the globe, countries will likely deprioritize food exports, as happened with medicinal and PPE exports. We have now taken the decision that Lesotho must produce a significant portion of its food needs. We are presently mobilizing the resources that we will need to increase both land mass grown to food crops as well as yields per area planted. We are investing in procuring seeds, fertilizers, and farm implements. We have invited our private sector to increase their investments in food production, and they have welcomed this initiative. But for Lesotho to succeed in this important initiative, which is completely in tune with SADC's own goals of raising regional food production, cooperation with members of our organization, and that of the Secretariat will be critical. Implementation of national reforms is a very crucial process for the overall stability of our country, which is a key cornerstone of the socio-economic development of any country. As a result, the government has committed itself to inheriting and building on the milestones that have been achieved by the previous government. We are also in full support, both financially and politically, of the already established National Reforms Authority. The National Reforms Authority replaced the National Dialogue Planning Committee, known as NDPC here in Lesotho, at the end of February, in which we held a plenary tour of the multi-stakeholder national dialogue, which took place in November 2019, in line with the reforms roadmap of the Lesotho we want. The National Reforms Authority is a multi-stakeholder body with authority to implement the reforms through the National Assembly of Lesotho. The multi-stakeholder national dialogue is a platform on which all stakeholders made decisions on issues undermining political and security stability in Lesotho under the 7 thematic areas of national reforms, namely security, constitutional, parliamentary, judicial, public sector, media, and economic reforms. Currently, efforts are focused on engaging the NRA Chief Executive Officer and his deputy or her deputy, as well as thematic experts and staff in accordance with the Act establishing the National Reform Authority. And we expect work to begin before October this year. Notwithstanding the challenges posed by the coronavirus, it is the aspiration of this government to conclude the national reforms agenda by the middle of next year. Our domestic economy is set to suffer the brunt of the pandemic, with growth expected to contract by a whopping 6% this year. This development is a result of weak external demand worsened by the COVID-19 containment measures. The rather gloomy economic conditions undoubtedly put our region's efforts to move towards a common future in a very delicate position. As a small economy, Lesotho stands to gain the most from the advantages promised by economic regional integration. We fully uphold the region's vision of a peaceful, middle to high income industrialized region where all citizens enjoy sustainable economic well-being, justice, and freedom. Political benefits, including expanded markets as well as a better chance at resource mobilization, presented our membership in a regional bloc cannot be overemphasized. We therefore fully support and aspire for the speedy implementation of the SADC industrialization strategy and roadmap 2015-2063, which advocates for the beneficiation of the region's natural resources as well as for the creation of regional value chains. Mr. Chairperson, our economies cannot afford the delayed identification of the sectors in which we can create the value chains aimed primarily at increasing trade amongst ourselves. We need to move with speed, however. As I conclude my remarks, allow me, on behalf of the government and the people of the Kingdom of Lesotho, and indeed on my own behalf, to reiterate our commitment to collaborate with SADC and all its structures in its mission to realize regional integration and sustainable development of the region. The government of Lesotho fully acknowledges the strategic technical expertise offered by this organization. We will, to an extent possible, endeavor to subscribe to the policies and strategies of SADC, which are geared towards the acceleration of regional integration and sustainable development. Your Excellency Chairperson, there is nothing as heartwarming, assuring, and soothing as the act of being welcomed into a big and happy, united family. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, for welcoming me into this gracious family with warm and open arms. I submit.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Lesotho, and thank you for sharing with us what the Kingdom is doing in addressing COVID-19 challenges and on the economic and social front. At this juncture, Your Excellencies, allow me to also introduce His Excellency Dr. Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera, President of the Republic of Malawi, who was sworn in as the President of the Republic of Malawi on the 28th June 2020, following his victory in the fresh presidential elections that were held on the 23rd June 2020. Prior to his election, His Excellency President Chakwera had served in a number of leadership roles, both in Malawi and internationally. May I invite Your Excellency to greet SADC citizen. Your Excellency, sir.
Your Excellency, Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, and outgoing chairperson of SADC, Your Excellency Felipe Jacinto Nyusi, President of the Republic of Mozambique and incoming chairperson of SADC, Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, Your Excellency Dr. Stomena Lawrence Tax, Executive Secretary of SADC, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy because of your welcoming me into this family. You all showered on me messages of congratulations and even sent delegates when I was inaugurated. On behalf of the people of Malawi, allow me to begin by expressing our sincere and deepest condolences to Your Excellency Dr. John Pombe Magufuli and the people of Tanzania on the passing of His Excellency late Benjamin William Mkapa, former President of Tanzania. May God continue to comfort you as we join you in mourning the loss of so great a son of the African soil. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, and delegates, with your permission, I wish to pay a special tribute to His Excellency elect Benjamin William Mkapa because I believe his legacy is most relevant to our reflections on the theme of this summit. 40 years building peace and security and promoting development and resilience in the face of global challenges. Of course, the most notable challenge now faced by everyone is the COVID-19. I believe that one of the ways we can promote development and resilience is to turn his dream Should I start again?
You may proceed, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania and outgoing chairperson of SADC, Your Excellency Felipe Jacinto Nyusi, President of the Republic of Mozambique and incoming chairperson of SADC, Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, Your Excellency Dr. Stegomena Lawrence Task, Executive Secretary of SADC, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy because of the support and welcome that I have felt since being elected President of Malawi. Your congratulatory messages, and some of you actually sent delegates on my inauguration. These were received with deep gratitude. On behalf of the people of Malawi, allow me to begin by expressing our sincere and deepest condolences to Your Excellency Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli and the people of Tanzania on the passing of His Excellency late Benjamin William Mkapa, former president of Tanzania. May God continue to comfort you as we join you in mourning the loss of so great a son of the African soil. May his soul rest in eternal peace.